And here we are on Cloud Kingdom, and down in the bottom left-hand corner of the map, we have our blue Zerg player from Team SCV Life trying to tie things up for them. It is Symbol, one of the very best Zerg players in the world. And he's going up against one of the very best Terran players in the world. Up here in the top right-hand corner, we have our yellow Terran player from Prime. It is the one and only Marine King.
Yep, so Team SCV Life actually having very, very few Terran players of note anymore.
That's true.
I think maybe they should consider changing to TDL, Team Drone Life.
Yep.
But drones actually have the shortest lives of all the
that's right.
of all the workers.
Well,
because
they aspire to be something greater than they are.
Yeah, and that seems like a good philosophy for TDL to take on once they change names.
I like it. I think Hyun's already embodied that as well by making $3,300 already from IPL Fight Club. So.
Taking out tons of amazing players, including our IPL 4 winner and runner-up, both of them, Alive and Squirtle. Hyun has taken out both of them. That's just amazing. Oh, and I did confirm Roxkiss Titan is going to be our Fight Club challenger on Monday, so definitely check in with us again on Monday and see how he does against TSL Hyun. But we haven't seen Hyun here yet, just Ragnarok so far, Symbol in now. This is the second Zerg in a row. I wonder if they're going for the all-Zerg lineup or if poor Polt will even be needed here today.
They can basically do that, though. I mean, we have seen in the past that TSL has gone with 4 Zerg players and Polt.
Yeah, that's true.
More often than not, though, they go for 3 Zerg players and Nori and Polt. If it comes down to it, at least that was their strategy in Team Arena Challenge 3. We'll see if that's changed up a little bit, of course. But Marine King building his buildings in very close to his chest barracks, right next to the command center, and saving up still for a 1-rax gasless fast expand, it appears, but we'll see how he wants to go about doing it with all of his buildings right here. I don't know if he's going to put his command center on the low ground or not.
That is very interesting that he is choosing not to build at the top of his ramp. I wonder if Symbol's going to eventually see this and start salivating and dreaming of ways to abuse the fact that there's a wide open ramp at the moment. But MKP last time was the one to do that, basically just run right up the ramp and start torching drones with Hellions. So if Symbol scouts it early enough, I mean, he is sending that first Overlord over. There's no drone scout yet, but the Overlord, if he just moves over a little bit to the right, he would be able to see that the barracks is hugging the orbital command right now. Of course, it would be a tough time to get back out of there if he did see it. Actually, wow, the barracks moved, but it still didn't even move to the top of the ramp.
Well, and so far he sees double gas coming down exactly when he would expect, following up a 1-rax gasless fast expand. And we're probably going to see not much different from Marine King in this game. Now, from Symbol, on the other hand, he's shown exactly the same thing that his teammate Ragnarok did in the last game. Now, Ragnarok decided about 10 seconds from now to put up 2 gas and immediately go into Spire Tech right afterwards. We'll see if Symbol has the same approach or if he's going to go do something a little more familiar to us in the Foreigner scene and just go for a 4 or 6 queen build.
I imagine he's going to switch it up a little bit because
there's the 4 queen build.
Just because the just because the Mutalisk didn't work out too great. MKP is very good at preparing for that sort of thing. He does have 3 Marines out already. He's adding on that factory now. There is the reactor as well, so I don't have any. I don't have any illusions that he's not going to do the exact same thing he did last time. Lots of Hellions hitting the field as soon as he can get them flipped around, and the second orbital command's already almost done as well. This is basically the same build out of him.
All right. Yeah, well, would expect to see the starport here in just a second. Looks like he's going out to build another command center, possibly. No, there's the starport first. He did save up to almost 400 resources, but looks like he's going to prioritize the... I mean, we see Tasia, who likes to put down a 3rd command center before he goes up into the Tech Lab starport, but Marine King goes the other way around, invest in Cloak, make sure that he has all of his Banshees running, and then goes up to the 3rd command center.
He just arbitrarily changed the landing position of that barracks to put the Tech Lab down. He started to put it directly above the starport and then changed just to put it there. I'm not sure why, but
well, it gets the starport a little bit closer to his opponent, but
I guess, yeah.
Marine King seems very, I don't know, whenever I watch him play, like, some people are very orderly. They're very, this goes here, that must go there, as we do have a Roach Warren coming up now for Symbol. Marine King, on the other hand, seems very kind of seat of his pants, like, oh, where am I going to, that's going to go here now. No, I didn't like that there. I'm actually going to pick it up and move it here, so...
Yeah,
but he's also very good at thinking on the fly, so.
Well, that's what we saw with his first barracks. He put it right up next to his orbital and then moved it like 3 hexes down and to the right. Like, it didn't really make a whole lot of sense, but oh well. He's winning all these games, so I can't fault him for that. And we do have more Hellions actually coming across the middle of the field now, trying to stop Symbol's 3rd base from ever actually becoming operational. Cloak and Banshee both on the way as well, so MKP figures if it isn't broke, don't fix it.
Cloak and Banshee are on the way, but of course the Evolution Chamber not quite done yet, so it'll be a while before Spore Crawlers come up, but of course StarCraft is going to be very diligent about those, I would imagine. Especially because, what has he seen out of his opponent? No, just those double gas and where the second base is at for the time being.
Yeah, he needs to do more scouting probably, so he can figure out exactly what he needs to defend against. But obviously with a lot of queens and now spores on the way, he should have some units prepared. Obviously you don't want to lose any of these queens now when the Banshees are the imminent threat coming in. So he's going to use them obviously to sort of ward these back, but doesn't really doesn't want to lose any of them. Now the first Banshee is here. Cloak is not done yet, so let's see if MKP repeats his performance from last game against Symbol.
Nice placement of the Spore Crawler from Symbol there, making sure that he has that up at the front as soon as possible, and indeed he does. He's already done a great job of connecting the creep between his bases very early in the game as well, so making sure that he kind of hits everything at the moment. Spore Crawler's up in all of his bases, yes, one in his main as well, so even though Marine King has a lot of force, and this killed a bunch of queens of Ragnarok's last go-around, it doesn't look like Symbol's going to take as much damage.
Yeah, Symbol also went the safer route with these roaches. They're a lot less risky against Hellions and Marines. Obviously, Banelings can roll in, but those flame jets can torch them all before they even reach their target. Roaches obviously are a lot more durable and have that ranged attack as well, so they do a bit better against Hellions in some situations. So Symbol is going to actually have just a lot more HP to work with, basically. This queen is not even going to go down. Wow, I really thought MKP was going to pick that up before turning around.
That was really nice. So Symbol actually had enough for a transfusion when the queen was about here, but he actually kept it at low health to bait the forces back from Marine King there for a little while longer. So that was really clever stuff. Marine King is still continuing to torch quite a few units. He kills a queen over on the side. Looks like he will lose one Banshee, but oh, he tried to DPS down +1 armor before it finished, but he's not quite going to get it.
Yeah, that was very close. Marine King just being forced to back off after losing a Banshee there. Nearly got the Evo Chamber, but MKP is going to be expanding again. That command center is finished, so he'll be able to get started on that now that he's kind of regrouping, focusing on macro and upgrades. Double NG Bay coming up now, and he does have enough to get +1/+1 started, but I'm not sure if he's going to wait a little bit and try to make sure that his unit production is at its max potential at the moment.
Looks like these roaches were going to try and poke out here and take the Zelnaya Tower, but the Banshee is still floating overhead, so providing an additional little bit of map coverage there for Marine King. Of course, it doesn't activate the Zelnagi, doesn't get additional vision from it because it's in the air, but at least he'll lock it down against any sort of...
Oh, there's Queen. He's going to lose it.
Aw, bye-bye. All right, so just pretty normal biomech coming out of Marine King at the moment. I like the inclusion of a couple of Marauders even a little bit earlier on. Use up some of that extra gas that he got sitting around, and will also provide as a pretty nice buffer against any sort of Baneling play.
We do have +1/+1 started now, and actually a Spire halfway done for Symbol, so he is actually going to go back toward that Baneling Ling Muta build. Not the build, at least just the composition that Ragnarok had last game. He is getting Baneling speed and Zergling speed. This is Zergling speed finishing at about 12 minutes in. Pretty interesting from Symbol, but +1 melee is done now, and he is going to just start working on creating lots of Lings, it looks like, so he can have some Baneling fuel.
And this Banshee, unfortunately, not going to get around the sight of that Overseer, and he will eventually be found out. He's going to try and sneak his way in between the main and the third, but really he's just pretty much got to sit there. There's not much else he can do. There's no real sweet spot here. It's good placement of the Spore Crawler from Symbol.
Yeah, and the Overseer obviously can just stay parked between the main and natural, and there's detection all over the place. Mutas are about to come out. The first 7 will be done in just a moment, with 3 more to follow that. So there's an armory actually on the way for MKP, so he is going to start working on vehicle upgrades and have the ability to go to 2-2 soon. Tanks and Siege Tech both actually rolling out now for him. And his composition is starting to get very, very Terran, very scary.
Yes. Oh, and a fake drop here? No, I think that may just be a misrally. I'm not sure. He is baiting back a lot of Mutalisks, but directly into the fire of a lot of his units. And one medevac does go down. The second may fall here in a second.
Oh, wow.
Not even able to get a Mutalisk in return.
Didn't even get the second medevac, though. It lived with about 1 HP. And we have tons of Marines on the ground now, stimming up, moving forward. So if he just gets out of there with those Mutas, that forced a lot of stim and a lot of energy, at least. But no, whoa. Actually scaring me multiple times there. And we do have 32 Lings actually coming out for SYMBOL. He is saving some gas. No, actually not very much gas. He's still churning out those Mutalisks as well, but I'm sure at some point he will switch gears and probably just do a big crop of Banelings as MKP gets closer to his base. Hive is coming up now as well for SYMBOL.
One Mutalisk has finally fallen, but for all the damage that these Mutalisks have done, I mean, one Muta lost, that's pretty good trade so far for SYMBOL. That being said, though, Marine King's macro has still been quite impressive. He's hitting his upgrades a little bit slower than his opponent. The only real bad thing he's doing is defending these medevacs that are out to the side. In fact, he only has 2 medevacs to heal up this entire force.
Oh man, 18 Banelings were made, and here they come rolling in. Marine King is doing his nice splits. He needs to actually focus these tanks down, and the Banelings will have a chance to connect there. They do, and the medevacs are getting taken out, so the Baneling Ling Muta composition working out beautifully for him. He doesn't have a single, oh, he's got a single Baneling left standing after all that, but a really good trade for him. As you see, the supply was about only 5 to 10 difference. Now it's about 30 to 40 difference, so SYMBOL can actually continue to roll through here, churn out a bunch of Lings, make Banelings on the fly if he wants to, and start attacking this base over here.
All right, well, this is a pretty scary army from SYMBOL already, and now he's got Hive Tech to back it up and go into 3-3 upgrades very quickly. He can start Adrenal Glands. There's Adrenal Glands as we say it, and Marine King's not been able to get anything done as far as dropping goes, so SYMBOL can keep most of his units forward here on the map and make sure that he has the strongest army forward at any given point in time. So things are not looking good for Marine King. Certainly not out of it yet, but things are not looking good.
Yeah, SYMBOL even managed to defend that hatchery long enough to start a wave of drones. He's got 12 more drones coming out just for that hatch. He's up to 96 drones overall with an Ultralisk Cavern and those 3-3 upgrades and Adrenal Glands all on the way. These Lings are going to be doing tons of damage, obviously. The Mutas could actually pick off a couple of tanks and Marauders there to soften the front, but now, oh, all these Lings getting right into the SCV line of the natural. There's a ton of SCVs there. They are going to try and pick off these Marines now instead, but the Mutas come over because they realize there's a cash crop of SCVs that they can just run over and harvest. Well, oh, there's another encounter going on to the left side here, but it looks like it's just some Lings and Banelings playing along with some Marines. Actually, a lot of dead Lings on the ground there.
A lot of dead Lings, but that is clearing up a bit of supply and space for Ultralisks now.
Yep.
Yeah, I guess some of those are actually being returned to Lings at the moment. SYMBOL, though, not really expanding everywhere, just content to sit on his 4 bases and 96 drones at the moment. Would expect to see another base or 2 here in just a bit, but his income is just great.
Yep, there is another base actually down in the bottom right, and
there it is.
Marine King actually has a unit just below that mineral line.
Yes, he does.
He's got a Banshee that's been chilling there the entire game with 1 kill and red health. But Pathogen Gland's actually on the way now for SYMBOL. I'm curious if he is actually going to end up using any Infestors. Wouldn't be a bad idea, obviously, with Ultras and Banelings on his side already and big clumps of Marines to be dropping Fungals on. So I think that might be the next stage of his plan if this next maxed attack here doesn't do fatal damage.
And it looks like Marine King is going to head down towards that base in the bottom right-hand corner, try and force an engagement in the meantime in these tight little choke points here whenever he does have a good number of siege tanks. SYMBOL was thinking about engaging, and he may decide to go with it. Yes, he is. The tanks are all sieged up, though. Marine King needs to get his forces back. He's done a nice job of isolating the Banelings off to the side, but 3 Ultras still remain. All of the siege tanks have gone down, but the Ultras have to get out of there. 1 has already died. 2 actually have died. There were 4 that were in that fight. Another one is starting to run up. It gets picked off as well, and the last 2 are getting pretty low.
Great job by Marine King getting all those Banelings killed. I didn't really see a single big blast in that in that entire encounter, so SYMBOL's Banelings kind of went to waste. He picks up a hatchery kill there as well and can probably just be content with the damage that he's done, thinning out that army of SYMBOL and actually taking out a hatch as well if he can continue rallying his forces. Here we have some defending this far left base, but he's going to continue on with these handful of Marines. The great thing here is as long as the Mutas are taken account of, he can actually pick up and leave with those Marines whenever he needs to.
And Marine King showing his absolute macro might as well. I mean, he was down by quite a bit of supply, but was able to just power ahead with unit-producing structures. And honestly, he's taken out 2 bases now. SYMBOL's down to just 3. He's got another hatchery coming up at the moment, but man, he just doesn't have a lot of mining going on. His main and natural are getting very low.
Yeah, look at the gas actually for SYMBOL being under 100 gas as he makes a wave of 24 Banelings and +1 ranged attacks, but another hatchery goes down. That's not going to be good for SYMBOL. SYMBOL really needs to get some damage done with this attack. Muta's flying overhead. I don't see... Oh, here's the bulk bulk of MKP's forces. All right, so he was just cutting off reinforcements early. There's a huge fungal and tons of banelings crashing in, killing dozens of Marines there. That took his supply down by about 40 in a couple of seconds, so that fungal just massive. I saw in the production tab, he made one infestor, and that was a perfect fungal there for those banelings to actually crash into everything. Crazy stuff.
That was as good of an engagement as StarCraft could have hoped for. That was everything he needed, and now has swung the pendulum completely back into his favor. He's trying to reestablish a fourth base right now, but he's effectively denied Marine King's fourth. He may even kill his orbital command. I don't see any SCVs getting over there to repair it, and it's going to be very close, but no, looks like it will fall.
All right, and the Marines that killed the bottom right hatch tried to move over, but StarCraft, obviously with max upgraded Lings, is able to tear those to pieces. Yeah, there's one infestor on the field right now, so that thing hit a perfect fungal for the couple of dozen banelings to crash in there and just open the door for all those ultras and mutas to keep walking. But basically, we've been trading bases kind of throughout the game here. Muta's trying to find this last Banshee. No Spore Crawlers at this base. So a couple of drones are going to be in danger, but StarCraft's still running all over the map. He's got good map vision. He's still got his overlords all over the place. There hasn't been any Vikings made at this game for MKP to take out all those scouting overlords, so that's a nice benefit for StarCraft to keep map awareness like that.
Banshee finally does go down, and there is a cleverly placed sensor tower up here in the top left-hand corner, as this is a likely backstab route for StarCraft. So nice job there, as MarineKing does have very good vision on the rest of the map, so that's pretty much the only blind spot that he has. And we'll be able to detect this huge group of speedlings making its way up to the top and immediately starts reacting to it.
That's right, and StarCraft actually getting more banelings in here. I don't know where the infestor... Oh, there is actually the one infestor on the left side. If he actually manages to drop another great fungal, then he might be able to do quite a lot of damage, although the banelings were spent. There are 14 more in production now. Obviously, Ultras have a fun time chomping down on those fungal Marines as well, so depending on where these banelings are, I'm not sure. MKP might be able to station up here for a little while and not have to fear a counterattack. There is the bulk of the banelings there.
And MarineKing's finally going to lose vision here of the middle of the map, but look how hardy those Marauders are with 3/3 upgrades, even against that number of Zerglings. So nice job there. Ultralisks are in pretty great numbers, but starting to back away. Now finally re-engaging. The banelings are at the back. The tanks aren't sieged up quite yet. Thor's getting in the mix as well from the side with +2 upgrades, but Fungal's locked down all of the bio units off to the left, and these Ultras have just continued to power the way through. However, MarineKing did win the right side of the fight, and now he's going to start trying to rally his way back against these Ultralisks.
This Infestor is a superstar, man. He's going minimalist fungal action. He's got only 2 kills to his name, but he's pinned so many units throughout this game. That's actually crazy. He's making 4 more Infestors now. He's like, wow, if I can drop money fungals with just 1, imagine how many I'll be able to drop with 4. But now Thors are starting to hit the field, so things are getting a little bit more dangerous. I'm not sure what the upgrades are on the mech, but they are blasting. 0-2. Oh, 0-2. Wow, that's not even very much. Big fungal again on the medevacs. Actually going to be able to snag a couple of kills on those. Banelings still in the mix. I do see some going off, and lots of speedlings really going to be able to clean up well here for StarCraft. Look at this 70 supply lead now for TSL.Symbol against MarineKing.
And MarineKing has to pick up this orbital command. He does, thankfully. He's got to get some gas mining in as well, because he's limited in the amount of Marauders and Siege Tanks he can start to produce, and he really does need those. It's not a normal situation for a Terran player. Of course, you're used to seeing them with just loads of gas at the end, as they do nothing but produce Marines and tanks, but still.
Yeah, StarCraft actually getting under 100 minerals there briefly, as he was just spending like crazy, making sure all of his larvae were in use, rolling more upgrades, even though he's not using the range upgrade units at all. He's still just upgrading it, because why not? Maybe he'll have to switch into it eventually. Big fungals again, landing on all those bio units. This orbital command is not long for this world, and Marines and Marauders still streaming out for MKP, so StarCraft really does need a kind of hammer blow to get into the production area to get, you know, do some damage there and stop all these Marines and Marauders from constantly streaming out for MKP.
There have been a lot of workers killed, though. As we saw, MarineKing has lost 46 of them this entire game. He's down to just 39. If you do take the difference in workers out of supply, though, the armies aren't all that dissimilar. But MarineKing doesn't have a very well healed up Bioforce in the middle. He needs more medevacs to be added on in a second. And look at this, more economic damage being done by StarCraft.
Yeah, that map coverage, again, no Vikings made this entire game for MKP to thin out out the Overlords, and Overlords are just doing such a great job spotting for Symbol that he can find these moments of weakness here off on these fringe bases. And now we do have quite a lot of Infestors. I don't see as many Banelings as we've seen previously, but Ultras do very well with Fungal on their side.
Oh, full stim.
And obviously, Infested Terrans actually are going to be able to be huge here as well if those Infestors have the energy for it, creating walls, sort of zoning out the Terran units. There's another Orbital Command killed off. That's a big one there because his mining is down quite a bit at this point in the game.
Okay, well, all he can do at the moment basically is produce 1 million Marines, and that's pretty much what he's doing. Marines and Marauders now popping out as quick as he can, falling back on familiar biotech. 42 Banelings all morphing in at the same time, and looks like that was all that were on the field, but still, that is a considerable number.
That's right. He's going to go ahead and crash through here. Ultras first. I do see some big Fungals landing all over the bio units. It's hard to split when you're covered in boogers, and Banelings just crashing into everything. There are still quite a few left. We've got some Ultras actually at the front lines doing the bulk of the damage, still up by 50 supply Symbol. And now these Infestors, even if the Ultras all do slowly get worn down, the Infestors will be able to replenish those armies of Infested Terrans. And there's another Baneling crash. Ultra is going to finish everything up here. And look at that, 11 health Ultra still surviving there. SCV's taking fire now, and MKP is looking in very, very big trouble here.
Yeah, I mean, he's trying to produce what he can at the moment, but he's losing another ton of workers. 59 workers killed to just 23 at the moment. And, oh, there's the Fungal on everything. So what's that workers killed count up to? 74.
Yikes. And obviously these Ultras still moving forward. Did I see transfusions? Yeah, he brought Queens along for the ride to transfuse. These heavily armored Ultralisks, he's still dropping those transfusions. Going to let the Queens go ahead and get killed off. But look at that, 18 more Banelings in production now for Symbol. He has not built any drones in a while. He is, you know, he's aware that he is very far ahead here. He's going to continue pressing the advantage while he can.
All right, so
10 SCVs remaining.
Yeah, Marine King has a lot of forces in the middle of the map, but no medevacs to heal them up whatsoever. He's only got 100 gas there. 1 medevac. Huzzah. But I don't think that that's going to be enough. Symbol trying to move in for the killing blow right now. Locks down yet more bio units as Fungals have just been on point the entire game. The rest of the army disappears from Marine King. There's GG. And we are tied up 1-1 between Team SCV Life and Prime.
Wow, Marine King only getting a single victory. That's, I mean, obviously